Hello, everyone, and welcome to Orford Mining's live virtual summit today, hosted by Six. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for today, David Christie, Orford Mining's President, CEO, and Director. David's going to be walking us through a company presentation, and after, we're going to be accepting questions live. So if you'd like to participate in that Q&A, feel free to submit your questions in the chat found on the right-hand side of your screen at any point. If you'd also like to get in touch with the team, feel free to fill out the survey that's linked in the chat. And as always, this event is being recorded, and it's going to be available on Six.com in the coming days, so look out for that if you want to refresh. Without further ado, David, I'm going to pass things over to you so we can get started.
Thanks, Cam, and good morning, everyone. Going to walk through Orford Mining's exploration projects, but before I do that, I'm just going to mention we are currently working on a private placement. The total look for is $6 million. We're doing a unit, a hard dollar unit at 13 cents, basically, with a half warrant at 22-cent exercise price for 2 years. There's also a flow-through unit, a gold flow-through at 21.5 cents, and it also comes with a half warrant. And then there is a critical minerals flow-through warrant or flow-through share at 24.8 cents. So just keep that in mind as we walk through things here. And if you have any interest in the private placement, please give me a call. We'll be making some forward-looking statements. Have you read those at your leisure. Basically, Orford is made up of 4 key projects. The foundation of the company was the West Raglan nickel project, 713 square kilometer project. Wyloo Metals has been earning into our project, which until 2021 was 100% Orford's. They have to spend up to $25 million to earn 80%, make a cash payment to Orford, and complete a bankable feasibility study.
Just as a note, David, sorry to interrupt. I don't see the slides having shifted if you had intended them to.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Now we're on the disclaimer. Okay. Now we're on slide 3. Go ahead.
Okay, got you. Okay, so West Raglan, 713 square kilometer project, as I mentioned. We did drilling last year for Wyloo, and we're working on some airborne magnetics this year, some geological work. We're going to build up a target base for drilling in 2024. As they move to their next stage of earn-in, which is 70%. They have a few years to get there. The other key project just north of West Raglan in the Nunavik region is the Kagovic project, 402 square kilometers, so another huge project, 100% owned by us. Last year we drilled 2,700 meters of diamond drilling. This year we're going to do a RAB drilling program. We're going to drill between 40 and 60 target holes, between 50 and 100 meters of depth. So it's a new transformative targeting method this year, and we'll talk about that. Then also in the same regions, our new Nunavik lithium claims. We've staked 455 square kilometers of land. They're 100% owned by us. No royalties on any of the land. We're 70 kilometers to all-season deep-sea port that the Raglan mine and the Nunavik nickel mine use. We staked known pegmatites, lake bottom sediment sample anomalies in lithium, and grab samples with lithium anomalies. This area has never been explored for lithium or anything else to our knowledge. And then totally separate from that, in the Abitibi is the Chatel regional projects. We have 260 square kilometers there. The centerpiece to this is the Chatel Eagle project. We did a drill program in 2022 to confirm our theories. And then this year, we just finished a 2,500 meter drill program, which was quite successful in delineating the South Gold Zone. We'll walk through that quickly. And we discovered a new gold zone there. So lots of acreage, over 1,800 square kilometers of land, 26 different properties. And last year we drilled 6,000 meters of drilling. So just give you an idea where we are. So Chatel down in the Abitibi, and then up in the Nunavik region of Quebec, you can see we're sitting right next door to the Raglan nickel mine, world-class nickel asset that Glencore operates. Quickly, we've had a big surge in our share price since we announced the lithium claims, and a lot more volume since we did that. Currently sitting at about 13.5 cents. That's a market cap of $23 million. And you can see our shareholder makeup there. Alamos Gold owns 26% of the company, so they are our big shareholder. I'm a geologist by training and education. Worked with Agnico Eagle for many years and a number of other companies. Then I worked on the sell side with TD and Scotia as a senior gold analyst. Followed that, I was asset manager with the Goodman and Company Group at Dundee Corp. And following that, I was also CEO of a company called Eagle Hill. We did a 5-way merger actually to create today's Cisco Mining. It was the asset in Eagle Hill that was the foundation of Cisco Mining. And then I've been on a number of boards as well. Alger St. Jean and Michel Sorrentino are two key geological people, both with lots of experience. Alger with Falconbridge and then Glencore, and us in Karora. And then Michelle, she's been working with the nickel project RNC Minerals and with us on our nickel and gold projects for many years. Very experienced board. Peter McPhail is our chairman, ex-CEO of a number of companies. Lauren Smith, ex-asset manager. John McCluskey, CEO of Alamos Gold. Mark Goodman, ex-Dundee Corp, part of the Goodman family that owned Dundee or ran Dundee. Ben Pullinger is the VP of Exploration with Atex Resources, well-known geologist on the street. And Monique Rabideau is a well-known Bay Street lawyer. So really good board, very involved. First of all, Kagovic. We're sitting at the northern tip of Quebec, about 60 kilometers from the coastal town of Salyut to the Kagovic project. We're about 80 kilometers to the west of the Raglan nickel mine, world-class nickel asset, and the Nunavik nickel mine here. Deception Bay ports in this area here, just to the west of Salyut. So they have a road that goes up there, and they ship their concentrates out of that port facility. We've discovered high-grade showings across the entire property. So the past few years, as we worked there, we spent about 40 weeks on the ground so far, because it's, we work there only in the summer so far. Until we have a center of gravity, we don't work when the snow's flying. You can see these big mineralized boulder trends, like the two red boxes there, and I'm going to bring you back to those in a few minutes. But some of the grades are spectacular: 648 grams, 247 grams. These are grades you don't tend to find at surface, and we have a lot of them. So we really believe we're in a new gold district here. We believe it has camp scale potential. That means we think we have more than the possibility for more than one gold deposit here. Last year, we did a pilot drilling at the head of what we call the Anik trend. We did find quite a bit of gold in that area, but we don't think we found the source of the mineralization in these boulders. Then we did a glacial interpretation of the entire property by one of the best glacial mines in the country, a guy named Stu Averill. He believes the boulders that we have along here, this is not so much as a boulder train as it is very close to where they come from. He believes they haven't moved at all. He believes there's northeast trending structures that the boulders are sitting on, intersected with northwest trending structures. And I'll show you that in a second here. You can see we have a number of targets across the property. The blue lines are the northwest trending structures, likely the gold mineralizing events. And then these other blue lines to the northeast here are also gold mineralizing events. When we zoom into the area around the Anik trend, which is where that 648 grams is, and the Eric trend, another 650 gram sample was there. This is where we're going to concentrate our efforts on this year. These little blue squares are where we're going to drill RAB holes. So we're going to drill about 40 to 60 holes this year, testing where these boulders came from. We believe they're very close to source. So we're doing IP first in those areas. We're going to follow that up with drilling in those areas. So it should be a very exciting summer, lots of drilling, and we think we're going to hit the target this year. So it should be a very exciting summer at Kagovic. Brand new gold district, as I mentioned. No one explored this piece of land before us, so very exciting. Moving down to the Abitibi, our other gold project. It's sitting right in the center of the Abitibi, right next to Agnico Eagle's original gold mine, the Eagle Tel Bell mine. This is the Chatel Eagle project. Here's the old Eagle Tel Bell mines here. This property to the northwest of us and southeast of us, or northeast and southeast of us, is the Maple Gold Agnico Eagle JV. So they've been drilling in this area here. We have the same mine horizon here across the more than 10 kilometers of strike length of our property. We've been concentrating our efforts so far at the South Gold Zone. There was some known mineralization there, so we've gone in and confirmed that it has some continuity. It has thicker intercepts than previously thought, and we believe we can get to a resource there. This year, we went in and drilled 2,500 meters there. You can see some of the grades here, 4.1 grams over 14.6 meters. These are pretty good grades. Close to surface, we're less than 100 meters from surface here for most of this. We believe with some more drilling, we'll get to a resource here by early next summer. So that's the plan. We're waiting on a few more assays yet. When they all come in, we will get in here and do some more drilling. So the Nunavik region for critical minerals. Now this region is already a hub for critical minerals. There's two nickel mines that have been producing. The Raglan mine started in 1999 and has been producing ever since. Has about the same reserves today as when they opened the mine. And then we have the Nunavik nickel mine that the Chinese operate, the Xinjiang Mining, and it has operated since it started producing in the I think 2008. So great area for critical minerals already. Has a port facility they keep open year round. They have a road network that goes there. So we believe we're in one of the better places for critical minerals. We're not 2,000 kilometers from the port of Montreal, which isn't even open year round. We're in an area they keep a port facility open year round to ship concentrates. So that's something important to remember. We are firm believers that electric vehicle demand will continue to increase. Therefore, electric vehicle batteries will continue to increase, increasing the demand for nickel and lithium. No matter what battery type you look at, lithium is a big component of those batteries, and we don't think that's going to change. It's the lightest element. It takes the charge very well. Nickel might shrink in quantity because it's heavy as they try to make batteries lighter, but we don't think it's going away either. Just a view on the nickel demand going forward in the future. We think it's going to be pretty solid. You saw last year there was a bit of a dip in the price at the beginning of this year after a big swing last year in the lithium concentrate price. It's still very strong. We think this is going to continue to be the way. Lithium is in huge demand, and countries around the world are looking to secure their own supply of lithium. So we think for companies like Orford, if we make that discovery on our lithium projects, it's going to be huge for the company. So what did we do? We went into the Nunavik region and we staked these. Actually, I think there's 19 properties, and they're all very close to big geological boundaries, which is a key thing for pegmatite emplacement. Pegmatites are the kind of rock you find lithium in. We staked ground that has known pegmatites based on government mapping. It has lithium anomalies in the rock that they sampled. This is from 1980s mapping. They were not looking for pegmatites and lithium. They were just doing geological mapping. And it also has lake bottom sediment anomalies, and I'll show those in a second. So it has all the components you want to see for finding lithium. And then I want to mention here, this is the road network, the yellow lines here that come from the Raglan nickel mine up to Deception Bay, where the nickel concentrates are shipped out to from there. So Raglan mine and Nunavik nickel mine each have their own port facility here. Ships come in here monthly and ship out concentrates. Here's a look at the northern blocks of claims we staked. So you can see these triangles you see are known pegmatites that were mapped by the government. So the electrode property and the radiant property look exceptional with some pretty good numbers in grab samples. And then at the southern property, same kind of thing, known pegmatites, 218 ppm lithium just in a grab sample. So we think there's huge potential on both of these areas. You can see the Raglan property sitting just to the north of these claim blocks and this big geological boundary here. So it's a great place for pegmatite emplacement as well. And the Raglan, our camp sits about here, so we're very close to these properties. We have a camp for 60 people, and we have an airstrip there, so we're very well equipped. We have fuel on site already. We're probably one of the few that are ready to go up here already. And just for comparison's sake, this on the left, you can see on this map here, this is lake bottom sediment samples in the James Bay area. And then on the right, you can see ours. Both areas have great big geological boundaries. That's the black lines you see there. And the lake bottom sediment anomalies are as good or better in the Nunavik region compared to James Bay. Plus, we're sitting, like I mentioned before, between 0 and 100 kilometers away from a deep sea port. So this is an area I think if a discovery is made, will be very good economically as far as producing lithium concentrates. Skipping along to our West Raglan property, you can see it's sitting in the same rocks as the Raglan mine and the Nunavik nickel mine there. Raglan mine has spectacular grades of almost 3% nickel, almost 1% copper, and 3 grams per ton platinum palladium. So really good grades. Also has 0.06% cobalt. So already a critical minerals hub here up in the northern part of Quebec. Like I mentioned, Wyloo can earn up to 80% by spending $25 million and completing a bankable feasibility study and making cash payment to Orford. So they have a number of years left to do that, and we continue to operate the property right now. And we think it has a huge potential. We're looking for 2 different kinds of nickel deposits there. On the right, you can see the Raglan style. It's more like pearls on a string, very high grade pods, up to 3% nickel, 1% copper. They have 190 individual lenses at Raglan over 12 distinct zones. So there's a lot of mineralization spaced out over quite a large distance. Whereas at Canadian Royal's Miquelon deposit, it's more of an ultramafic dike. It's sort of one place. And the nickel copper ratios are lower grade, 1-to-1, but very economic as well. One of the better zones we have is called Frontier. You can see here grades of 3.2% nickel, 1.3% copper, and over 3 grams per ton PGE. So very similar grades to what they have at the Raglan nickel mine. So we think we have that same potential here. We need to find a number of other pods like this one, but we think that potential is huge. This is the property. You can see some of the zones we've already discovered. This past year, we did some drilling to expand the size of Frontier, which was successful. And we just drilled a new zone called Boomerang, and it was one of the higher grades we've hit outside of Frontier. So we're quite excited about that. And some new sampling down at the Big Potato showed some really good potential as well. So we're doing some airborne surveys in this area this summer around Big Potato and a number of other areas. We're doing some geological interpretation and mapping, and we'll follow that up next year with drilling. Great relationship with the First Nations and the local communities in both areas of the Abitibi and Nunavik, and we continue to work on that. It's very important. So just quickly summarizing the company, we have strong strategic shareholder support with Alamos Gold. They will participate in this financing pro rata. Massive land position in 2 underexplored gold districts at Kagovic and Chatel. Chatel hasn't seen any exploration since the 1980s until we started last year. And the Kagovic region has never seen gold exploration. It's basically been a base metal belt, and that's it. So just nickel and copper exploration. Large new land tenure covering very strong lithium targets in Nunavik. No one's explored for lithium up there before. There's very strong indicators that there'll be lithium deposits there, so we're quite excited about that. And remember, there's no trees there. We're doing remote sensing on that project right now. That'll help us map out the lithium potential very well. Can't use that kind of technology in areas like James Bay because there's trees. So it makes things much easier as far as prospecting and mapping. And very strong financial and technical partner at West Raglan nickel project with Wyloo Metals. These guys are the same guys who bought Neuront. They're very serious about nickel and making nickel production. And then, of course, we're in Quebec, which is one of the safe, most proven jurisdictions and very supportive to mining. Number of catalysts coming up. There's a pile of conferences and news flow is going to be pretty good over the next few months. So watch this space. And that's all I have for now, Cam. Let's move to questions.
Yeah, absolutely, David. Thanks for the presentation. And just as a reminder to everyone in the audience, if you would like to participate in this Q&A, feel free to submit questions in the chat found on the right-hand side of your screen. David, we already have some questions that have come in, so let's dive right in. This first question is from Fernando. Is the recent comparative weakness in share price related to the decrease in lithium spot prices? And if so, presumably that support is going to return as actual industry prices rise to what spot prices were last year.
Yeah, I think, well, there's a few things. The reason the share price is down, we're doing a financing that's usually pushes the share price down. Gold prices were weak until the past couple of days, and lithium prices have been weak. So plus we're in May, June, and it tends to be the period of time when the metal prices and metal equities don't do well. So you put all that together, you got weak pricing. Buy now for a rally in the fall is what I would say as put my ex-analyst hat on, but I'm not advising anyone on what they should do that way.
Fair enough. Okay. Terrence has a question. What is the drilling season at Kagovic, and how many rigs are going to be turning this summer?
So we're going to have one RAB drill. It's going to drill between 40 and 60 holes at the Kagovic project. And I should mention, actually, if we see a pegmatite that is very appealing at the lithium projects, we can pop that RAB drill over and drill holes there as well. The fact that there's no trees up there, we don't need individual permits for drilling up there. So the permitting for drilling doesn't exist in this area of the world. We just need a permit for our camp. So we can put the drill anywhere we want, basically, and drill holes. So it makes it easier and very flexible to move around and move to the situation that makes sense.
Okay, great. Terrence also wants to know if you could compare the lithium potential to similar resources in North America. And a general question attached to that is, why are there so little lithium production, or why is there so little lithium production on the continent?
Well, I would say until the past couple of years, no one really explored for lithium in a big way. It was difficult to finance lithium exploration. There was a bit of a period, I think it was like 2014, there's a bit of a lithium peak then, and people mostly went into the salars of South America. But I think looking for hard rock lithium deposits is really a new thing in Canada. There's been a few in the like 2015 to 2020, there was a few failures, and I think that scared a lot of people away. But that was because lithium prices hadn't rallied yet. Now that when I drive on the highway around Toronto here, I see a lot of electric cars. I think the demand for electric cars is really taking off. So I think you're going to see the demand for lithium go up. So the pricing on lithium concentrate should rally in the coming year.
Okay, great. Is Orford eligible for any critical minerals grants? And when are you going to be eligible for the lion's share of them?
Yeah, from my discussions with the ministries, the grants are available when you sort of get to definition drilling or development stage kind of thing. So right now, what we can do is we're selling our critical minerals flow through shares at a 90% premium to our share price that we're selling the hard dollar shares at. So it's you get that kind of kick because the government's put an extra flow through kick on the critical mineral shares. Versus the gold flow through shares are 65% premium to the share price. So a much bigger premium to the share price.
Right. Fernando also wants to know, is it likely or possible that the lithium exploration is going to spin out?
I can't say whether that will happen or not right now. It's something definitely, we'll look at down the road. But right now we're just eager to get on the ground there and see what we have. We staked this ground in February. Of course, it was all snow covered at the time. So we're really excited to get up there. Use the latest technologies, the LIBS and the XRF and the remote sensing work we're finishing up right now to assess the properties for lithium potential. And like I mentioned before, if we see something that looks really good, we'll stick a hole in it.
Sounds good. Well, David, that looks like all the questions that we received for today. So I want to thank you for going through your presentation. Of course, I also want to thank everyone that's in the audience, especially those who've asked questions. But before we wrap up, David, I want to pass things over to you for any closing remarks that you have.
Yeah, so as I've mentioned, we've got some really exciting things happening at Kagovic this summer. Some very exciting new work on our brand new lithium projects, and lithium is a pretty exciting thing these days. Of course, we're doing work at our West Raglan nickel project for our partner Wyloo, and come later this year, we'll start working on our Chatel project again to move towards a resource there. So when you look at the news flow you're going to see from this company, it's pretty spectacular. So if you have any interest in investing in Orford, we're doing a financing right now. The press release for the financing is on our website. Please have a look. If you have any interest, give me a call.